Hey, my name is Nick. We are back with another Brew Methods video. Today we have our President Will joining us.
Hello.
We're gonna brew the French press today. The coffee that we're serving is from Northern Shores Coffee Company, way up in Minnesota, like on the Canadian border. So this is their Mexican coffee, and it's called the Campfire Coffee, which seems appropriate because the French press, usually for me, it's like a go-to for camping.
Camping and after dinner.
It's a very rich cup of coffee. I think it suits after a meal really nicely. So for the French press, we're gonna start off with 60 grams of coffee. So we'll get that weighed out.
Does this method affect the amount of caffeine or flavor in any way differently?
Yeah, the extraction definitely. So if you think about what's going on inside the brewer as it's going, the grounds are fully just kind of floating around in there. So it's a full immersion brew, which is going to be pretty effective at getting a lot of the coffee particles and sediment out, so it extracts really well. So we've got 60 grams of coffee weighed out, and for the French press, since the filter is a little bit different, you'll usually want to use a bit of a coarser grind than you would for something with a paper filter like a pour over. We're going to go coarser with our grind, not quite all the way.
Does everything need to be black? Is that part of it?
It helps.
Okay.
You know, we like our coffee gear the same way we drink our coffee, black. So with this being a little bit of a darker roast, it has a little bit of the oil on the outside of the bean, which makes grinding just a little bit trickier.
What type of grinder do you have here?
Yeah, this is the Fellow Ode Gen 2. So it's really a a grinder that's meant for filter coffee, brewed coffee. It's not an espresso grinder.
Okay.
Yeah, usually grinders do a few things very well, and this, to me, does a really good job of making brewed coffee. We're gonna put our French press on the scale, tear it out. We've got our 60 grams of ground coffee here. Pour it inside, and the ratio that we want is about 1 to 14. So we're gonna use 1 liter of water is what this holds. And for a French press, this kettle is usually really great. It honestly can be better not to have a gooseneck kettle for something like this because the rate of flow isn't the quickest.
This is why you don't use the French press in the morning.
It's best, when you've got a giant jug of boiling water over the campfire and you just kind of dump it in. So then once we've got the water in, you're gonna see it forms a bit of a crust on the top. Mm-hmm. Some people prefer to let that sit until the very end and then press it. Just for the sake of kind of cleanliness in the final cup, I usually give it a good stir right away, which helps those grounds break up, and then as they brew, they'll kind of float to the bottom. So the filter will have to do less work later on, and it'll give us a little bit cleaner cup.
So the time frame for this is usually about a half hour, is that?
That's what we scheduled for this, isn't it? No, once we get it going, we're gonna set a timer for 4 minutes.
Okay.
And then we'll just put the lid on. We won't press it yet, but just to kind of hold on to some of the heat inside the brewer, and we'll let it wait until it's time to press.
All right.
We're back. We time traveled 4 minutes.
It was a quick 4 minutes.
Yeah. So we're gonna press the French press down. We don't want to use too much pressure, just kind of hand pressure. Really, everything that we should be thinking about now is just not disturbing the grounds inside. Otherwise, that'll get them to float up and end up in the cup, which we don't want to be drinking. And then we'll just give it kind of a gentle hand pressure.
You've done this before.
It's pretty exciting, right? Takes practice.
All right, my 4th cup of coffee this morning. That's hot and good.
It is good, yeah. It's not like the cup of coffee that I would usually drink, but I picture it, like you said, after dinner. Mm-hmm.
It's heavy.
A rich, heavy. It's not quite dirty though. Maybe at the very bottom we'll get a little bit of the sludge, or the mud it's called, which is natural just with the French press. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about this bag. This is, as you know very well, a flat bottom bag.
Flat bottom pouch. Northern Shores. They're from International Falls, Minnesota, and designed by Laura Spaeth. Is that
the one and only?
The one and only?
Yeah, Laura's a local Wausau designer who owns a bookstore in town that sells coffee. So that's where we picked this up from. And Laura offers all sorts of coffees that of customers who she's designed the packaging for. So
yeah, she did a great job with the design. No reference to the Minnesota Vikings, but that's okay.
The waterfall coffee cup, which seems fitting for International Falls, was also designed by a local Wausau tattoo artist. That was a sketch that he had done.
Oh, cool.
This is a great cup of coffee.
All right.
From Mexico, Campfire Coffee. I wish I was sitting around a campfire right now. Cool. Well, thanks for joining us. Let us know if there's any other brew methods you'd like to see us try or any other coffees you might recommend.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay, let's start over.